I'm 45 years old, and I'm dying. Not in the poetic way people say it when they feel stuck. Not in the "we're all dying someday" way that's supposed to make you appreciate sunsets. I mean dying in the most literal, clinical, fluorescent-lit sense of the word. Terminal cancer. Stage 4. No surgery, no miracle drug, no "let's see how you respond." Just a timeline? The doctor gave me 6 months. That was 5 months ago. Now I'm in a hospice room that smells faintly like antiseptic and warm blankets, listening to the soft hiss of an oxygen machine I don't technically need yet, but may want, the nurse said, for comfort. Comfort? It's a strange word when your body is turning against you. When food tastes like metal. When sleep comes in scraps. When pain arrives like a tide. And you can't argue with the ocean. Outside my window, life is still happening. Cars move. People walk their dogs. Someone laughs on the sidewalk, as if the universe didn't just pick up a pen and cross my name off a future I assumed I had. That's the thing I need you to understand before I say anything else. You don't get a warning. Nobody sends you an email titled, "Important. Your time is almost up." There is no gentle notification, no countdown you can see, no perfect moment where you finally feel ready. One day you're making plans for next summer, and the next day you're staring at an image on a screen while a stranger in a white coat tells you the kind of sentence that fractures your life into before and after. I used to think people who talked like this were dramatic. I'd scroll past videos like this with a smirk, thinking, yeah, live your life, take the trip, hug your kids. I'd save it for later. I'd think about it on Sunday night and then go back to work Monday morning. Now I don't have later, so I'm going to say what I wish someone had screamed at me when I was 25, when I still had time to listen. And I'm not saying it gently. If you looked at my life from the outside, you would have called it successful. I was a corporate attorney, the kind that wears tailored suits and talks in bullet points and answers emails at midnight like it's a moral virtue. I made partner at 38. I had a corner office with glass walls and a view that made people say, "Wow," when I gave them a tour. I made 6 figures, then more. I had a title that sounded impressive at dinner parties. I had clients who needed me, colleagues who respected me, a calendar that looked like a war zone. And I believed, genuinely believed, that all of it meant something. I believed I was building security for my family. I believed I was being responsible. I believed I was doing what good fathers do, sacrificing for the people they love. That's the lie I told myself. So many times, it stopped sounding like a lie. I worked 70-hour weeks for 20 years. 70. Not busy sometimes. Not crunch season. I mean, my normal life was a continuous state of sprinting. I missed my daughter's school plays because I had depositions. I missed anniversaries because trials don't care about your marriage. I missed birthdays because deals don't close themselves. And every time my wife, Sarah, looked at me with that tired disappointment in her eyes, I'd give her the same promise. Just a few more years. I'm almost there. Almost there. Almost there. Almost there. I never arrived. It started as a dull ache under my ribs, something I blamed on stress, on coffee, on too many meals eaten over a keyboard. I was the type of person who treated my body like a vehicle. As long as it kept moving, I didn't ask questions. But the ache didn't go away. I lost weight without trying. I got tired in ways sleep didn't fix, so I scheduled an appointment, annoyed at the inconvenience, already thinking about the emails waiting for me. I remember sitting in the waiting room, refreshing my inbox, not even looking up when the nurse called my name. I remember the doctor's office being too bright. I remember the silence after he said the words, "Stage 4. Like the air had been vacuumed out of the room. I remember the first thought that came into my mind wasn't, "I might die." It was, "How long can I keep working?" I wish I were making that up. I wish my brain had done something noble, something cinematic. Flashbacks of my daughter's face, regret flooding my chest, a sudden awakening. No, my first instinct was to protect the machine, the career, the identity I'd built. The doctor looked at me like he'd seen this before, like he knew exactly what kind of man I was, the kind who thinks he can outwork mortality. He said gently, "I'm not sure work is what you should be thinking about right now." But work was all I knew how to think about. 2 weeks after my diagnosis, I got an email. It was short and formal and congratulatory. They were making me senior partner. The thing I had wanted since I was a kid pretending to be a grown-up with a briefcase. The thing I had sacrificed my 20s and 30s for. The thing I told myself would make the suffering worth it. I stared at the screen, and I felt nothing. No thrill, no pride, no sense of victory. Then the rage hit me so hard it made my hands shake. I wanted to throw my laptop across the room. Because suddenly I could see the truth with a clarity that felt almost cruel. I traded my life for a title that means absolutely nothing. In the world I had been living in, that email would have been the moment, the proof, the payoff. In the world I'm living in now, where my body is failing and my days are numbered, that email was a joke, a cosmic prank, a gold star handed to a man drowning. My daughter is 16. Her name is Lily. She has my eyes, Sarah's stubbornness, and a laugh that used to be the loudest sound in our house when she was small. Now it's quieter, like she learned early not to take up too much space. Last week she sat beside my hospital bed while I tried to pretend I wasn't terrified. She held my hand. Her fingers were warm and small against mine. I said, "I'm so sorry." It wasn't specific enough. I didn't even know where to start. She looked at me for a long time, like she was deciding whether to tell the truth. Then she said softly, "Dad, I feel like I barely know you." My chest tightened. I tried to argue. I tried to tell her I was always providing, always working, always doing it for her. But she shook her head. "You were there," she said, "but you were never really there." That sentence is a knife. Not because it was cruel, because it was accurate. I was physically present sometimes. I sat at the dinner table. I showed up for photos. I attended the occasional event if it was convenient. But my mind was always somewhere else, drafting, negotiating, planning, worrying, chasing. I was always thinking about the next case, the next client, the next billable hour. I was there like a ghost, a body with a laptop. And she noticed. Children always notice. They don't care how important your work is. They care whether you looked up when they started talking. Here's what I wish I understood earlier. Success is one of the worst goals you can chase. Not because achievement is evil, not because ambition is wrong, because achievement is a trap with an endless hallway. You get the promotion and you feel amazing. For 48 hours. Then you need the next one. You hit 6 figures, then you tell yourself 7 will finally make you feel secure. You get the corner office and suddenly the guy on the next floor has a better view and you start wanting his. The goalposts move. Always. And you don't realize you're running on a treadmill until you're exhausted and the machine is still going. You don't wake up one day and say, "I choose to waste my life." You waste it one ordinary Tuesday at a time. One not tonight at a time. one after this deal closes at a time. And you keep telling yourself you'll slow down later. Later is a myth. Later is a carrot tied to a stick. Later is how you die with regrets. I had a friend in law school named Marcus. He dropped out after the first year. He said, "I don't want to spend my life in courtrooms. I don't want to be 50 and still arguing over contracts." I thought he was an idiot. I went on to become a partner. Marcus became a high school teacher. He made $50,000 a year. I made 3 times that. I felt superior in a way I'm ashamed of now. Do you know what Marcus did with his life? He coached basketball. He went to every single one of his kids' games. He took his wife on weekend trips. He volunteered at a soup kitchen every Sunday. He read books. Real books. Not legal briefs. He learned guitar at 40. He lived. Last month, Marcus came to visit me. He walked into my hospital room with a worn backpack and kind eyes, and he sat down like nothing about this was awkward, like he didn't need to fill the space with false optimism. He asked me about Lily. He asked me about Sarah. He asked me about what I was feeling. I looked at him and realized something that made me want to cry. Marcus is the successful one. Not because his bank account is bigger, because his life is full. He has memories, he has relationships, he has time spent in places that mattered. And I have accomplishments, awards, titles, a career, things you can't hold when you're dying. My wife Sarah is 43. We've been married 18 years. Last week, she sat next to my bed, her hair pulled back in the messy way she does when she's tired. Her eyes looked older than they should. She said, "Remember when we talked about going to Paris for our 10-year anniversary?" I didn't remember. That's the part that guts me. She remembered. She carried that dream quietly for years. I had forgotten. She said, "You told me we'd go when work slowed down. Work never slowed down. And now I'm never going to walk the streets of Paris with her. I'm never going to see the Eiffel Tower. I'm never going to sit in a cafe and do nothing but watch her smile. You know what haunts me? Not the big moments, the small ones." Tuesday nights when she wanted to sit on the couch and watch a movie, and I said, "Not tonight. I have to prep for tomorrow." Saturday mornings when Lily wanted pancakes, and I said, "Daddy has work." The day Lily begged me to teach her to ride her bike without training wheels, and I said I was too tired. The weekend Sarah suggested we take a spontaneous trip to the beach, and I said I had too much on my plate. Those moments are gone. They aren't waiting in some storage unit of the past where you can go retrieve them later. They vanish. They disappear the second you trade them away. You think you're chasing money. You're actually chasing security. You think you're chasing success. You're actually chasing worthiness. You think you're chasing approval. You're actually chasing love. And here's the brutal truth. You can give yourself those feelings right now. Not by achieving more. Not by earning more. Not by becoming someone impressive. By being present. By paying attention. By calling your parents while they can still answer. By hugging your kids before they grow into adults who don't need you the same way. By telling your partner, "I'm here," and actually meaning it. I spent 20 years trying to feel worthy through my career, trying to prove I was good enough by winning cases, by being praised, by being indispensable. Do you know when I finally felt worthy? Last week, when Lily held my hand and said, "I love you," not because I was a partner, not because I was successful, just because I was her dad. That's the feeling I was chasing for 2 decades. I could have had it on any Tuesday night if I had just closed my laptop. There's a piece of paper on the small table beside my bed. A bucket list. Learn Italian. Visit Japan. Read the classics. Start the novel I always talked about. Hike the Appalachian Trail. Learn to sail. It's almost funny. I used to think the tragedy of dying young was missing the big adventures. But the bucket list isn't the real problem. The problem is the word someday. Someday I'll travel. Someday I'll learn guitar. Someday I'll slow down. Someday I'll be present. Someday is a sedative. Someday is how you sleepwalk through your life. Life is happening right now. Not after you get the promotion. Not after you pay off the house. Not after you finally feel ready. You're not going to wake up one morning and suddenly have all the time in the world. Time doesn't get handed to you as a reward. It gets taken from you without permission. My daughter turns 17 in 2 weeks. I will probably not be here. I definitely won't walk her down the aisle. I won't meet her children. I won't be around for the quiet moments I assumed would come later. The retirement mornings, the grandkids, the trips we would finally take. Last night Sarah asked me, if you could go back and change one thing, what would it be? I told her the truth. I wouldn't change one thing. I would change everything. I would work less. I would say no to clients and yes to my family. I would take the trips. I would sit on the couch and watch stupid movies. I would make the pancakes. I would teach Lily to ride the bike. I would go to Paris. I would live, but I can't go back. All I can do is say this as clearly as I can to you. Don't wait. Don't postpone. Don't sacrifice your life for things that won't matter when you're at the end. Because when you're lying in a hospital bed with a month left, you're not going to care about your job title. You're not going to care about your salary. You're not going to care about what you weighed or what people thought of you. You're going to care about moments. Ordinary, unglamorous, beautiful moments. The ones you dismissed because they didn't look like success. And you are going to wish, with a pain I can't describe, that you had more of them. I have weeks left, maybe less. My wife is in the cafeteria getting coffee. My daughter is at school, and I'm lying here thinking about all the time I wasted, all the moments I missed, all the times I said, later. Don't do what I did. Don't wait for someday. Don't postpone joy. Don't sacrifice your life for success. Because success without life is emptiness. Achievement without presence is hollow. Money without moments is just numbers. Live now, right now, today. Call your parents, hug your kids, take the trip, learn the thing, do the scary thing, be present. Stop waiting for permission to live the life you want to live. I'm out of time, but you're not. At least not yet. So what are you going to do with yours?